Hey guys, welcome. So today in the morning, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change declared that Asan Conservation Reserve is now a Ramsar site. So now we have 38 Ramsar sites in India. It's largest in South Asia. Asan Conservation Reserve is first site from Uttarakhand to be declared as wetland of international importance. These are declared under Ramsar Convention, an international treaty for conservation and sustainable use of wetlands was signed at Ramsar. Ramsar is a city in Iran, and the date of signing this convention was 2nd of February 1971. 2nd of February is observed as World Wetlands Day, and the mission of this is conservation and wise use of all the wetlands through local, national and international cooperation. Here we have all the 9 criteria on the basis of which the wetlands are declared Ramsar site. Criteria number 1 has in it that a site has to be representative, rare or unique example of natural or near natural wetland type. Criteria 2, 3 and 4 are based on species and ecological communities, that they should support vulnerable, endangered or critically endangered species or threatened ecological communities, plant and animals at their critical stage, or plant and animal of important for biological diversity. Criteria 5 and 6 are based on water birds. 7 and 8 are based on fishes. Criteria number 9 has in it all the other taxonomies. So Asan Conservation Reserve is in Uttarakhand. Doon Valley, it's in Dehradun district. Location you can see on map also. Here on map you can see the location. It is near to Himachal border. It's on Paonta Sahib road. Paonta Sahib is a place, is a Gurudwara in Himachal, in Sirmaur district, and it's a water storage reservoir. It's a dam, wetland type it is declared in, and its protection status is that it is a conservation reserve. Now what is a conservation reserve? Conservation reserve has to be a buffer zone of some important protected area. Say it is a national park, the buffer zone of a place can be declared as conservation reserve. Or if there are two different protected areas, the channel we use to migrate to transfer to connect two different it is a connecting point between two different national parks, two different protected sites, and it is used to transfer the species. So that can also be called as a conservation reserve. This Asan Conservation Reserve is declared as Ramsar site on 21st July 2020. So it is written on the certificate that ministry has shared. Otherwise it is only today that all the news and all the ministries are tweeting that it is a Ramsar site, but the date of designation on the certificate is 21st July 2020, and it is managed by Irrigation Department of Uttarakhand. So it is a very important very rare species of water birds are there, and it is criteria it is declared under is criteria number 2, 3, 4 and 8, that it support very important critically endangered species and very important species and biological diversity, important for biological diversity, plant and animals. And criteria number 8 is based on that it provide food for fishes and all that. So though in the article of The Hindu that it is written that it qualifies 5 of out of 9 criteria, that is it compels to 5 criteria. Now number 5, fifth criteria is unknown to me. I am confused which one is that, so I have only written criteria 2, 3, 4, 8, 4 of them. I don't know the fifth one. So it is Asan Conservation Reserve. The other 37 sites I'm also going to discuss today. First from India was Chilika Lake. It was declared in the year 1981. First site from India to be declared as Ramsar site. It was designated under criteria number 2, and it is a lagoon. It's a natural lagoon. Lagoon is a water wetland that is separated from a sea through some salt or rocks, and lagoon has to have salt water in it, and it is managed by Chilika Development Authority. It is a very important bird sanctuary. It falls in Puri, Kharda and Ganjam district of Odisha. Next we have wetland, that is Ramsar site, that is Bhitarkanika Mangrove. It is a wildlife sanctuary and it is managed by Mangrove Forest Division of Odisha, and it is in Kendrapada district. It is designated under criteria 2, 4, 5 and 8, and it's a mangrove and tidal flat. Now you know what a mangrove is. Mangrove is a forest type found in tropical regions. The height of these trees is very low comparably. Here we have from Kerala 3 wetlands, 2 in Kollam district. Now Sasthamkotta is a freshwater lake in Kollam district, and it is under State Wetland Authority of Kerala, declared in the year 2002. It is designated under criteria 1, 2, 7 and 8. Vembanad Kol Wetland is Ernakulam, Alappuzha, Kottayam and Thrissur district. See, in Kerala you will find a lot of backwaters also, and a snakeboard race that happens in Alappuzha is very famous, and it's a lagoon and floodplain complex. Wetland type it has is of lagoon, and it is managed by State Wetland Authority of Kerala. It is designated in the year 2002 under criteria 1, 2, 4, 5 and 8. In Kollam district we have Ashtamudi Wetland. It's an estuary. Estuary is a wetland type which is small. When a river opens to a sea where it merges, it is called the mouth. So estuaries are formed at the mouth of the river, where the river falls into a sea. So it's an estuary, and it is in Kollam district, and it is designated under criteria 1, 2, 3 and 8. In Madhya Pradesh we only have one wetland, that is Bhoj Wetland, that is declared Ramsar site. It's in Bhopal district. It is a reservoir managed by Bhopal Municipal Corporation. It is designated under criteria 1, 2, 3, 5 and 8. In West Bengal we have 2 Ramsar sites. First is very important, Sundarban Wetland, because Sundarban is also UNESCO World Heritage Site, UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. It's a national park, and it comes under West Bengal Forest Department. It is a mangrove swamp, mud flats and lagoons, and it is located in 24 Parganas district, and it is designated last year only. Other from West Bengal is East Calcutta Wetland. It is in Kolkata district. It is designated under criteria number 1 because it is representative rare, as it is a aquaculture pond and it is a wastewater treatment areas. It is protected under East Kolkata Wetland Act 2006, and it is managed by East Kolkata Wetland Management Authority. In Assam we have Deepor Beel. Beel is local name for wetlands in Assam, and these beels are very important, play very significant role in the floodplain regions of this Assam, because it's Brahmaputra river valley where there's a lot of flood prone areas, and these beels, what they do, they observe the water in them, and that is how they are helpful during the flood times. And it is in Kamrup district, and they are helpful in controlling floods, and it is designated under criteria 1, 2, 4, 7 and 8. It was designated in the year 2002. It is under management authority of Forest Department Assam. So it is managed by Forest Department of Assam. It is in Kamrup district. It is a river floodplain, and it is part of it is a wildlife sanctuary. Next is Hokera Wetland in Jammu and Kashmir. It's a reservoir. It's a conservation reserve. It falls in Budgam and Srinagar district of Jammu and Kashmir, and it is designated under criteria 2, 4, 5 and 8 in the year 2005. It is under Department of Wildlife Protection of Jammu and Kashmir. Wular Lake, the largest freshwater lake of India, it's a marsh area also, and it is managed by Wular Conservation and Management Authority. It is in Bandipora district, and it was declared in the year 1990 a Ramsar site under the criteria number 1. Surinsar-Mansar Lake is a wildlife sanctuary in Jammu and Kashmir. It's a freshwater lake wetland, and it is in Udhampur district, declared in the year 2005 under criteria number 2, 3 and 4, managed by Surinsar-Mansar Development Authority. Somoriri, a beautiful lake in Leh district of Ladakh, is a conservation reserve designated under criteria 1, 2, 4, comes under Forest Department of J&K, and it is a brackish alkaline lake Okay, and it was declared in the year 2002. Rudrasagar Lake is another important wetland in northeast. It's a freshwater lake and marshy area, and it is under Department of Fisheries, Government of Tripura. It's in West Tripura district, and you can see a beautiful palace on its bank. It is Neer Mahal Palace, and it was designated in the year 2005 under criteria 2, 3, and 8. Renuka Wetland in Himachal is a very important wildlife sanctuary. A wildlife sanctuary is different from national park in the management. Wildlife sanctuary is under state, and national park is under nation, the management authority. And also wildlife sanctuary allows local people to graze their cattle in the wildlife sanctuary area that a national park doesn't allow. In the region also, it is in Sirmaur. Well, Renuka Wetland is in Sirmaur district. It's a freshwater lake, it's a marsh area, and it is also very important religious place also, and it is designated under criteria 3 and 4. You will observe a lot of tourists also here, and a small fair is also happen to be here. Okay, now Pong Dam Lake, it is in Himachal Pradesh. It is a wildlife sanctuary. Other name for it is Maharana Pratap Sagar Dam, and it is in Kangra district. It is designated under criteria 2, 5, and 8. It's a reservoir. It was designated in the year 2002. It comes under Himachal Pradesh Forest Department. Chandertal Wetland in Himachal in Lahaul and Spiti district is designated under criteria 2 and 3. It is also a wildlife sanctuary, and it's a freshwater lake also, and it is camping and trekking lovers paradise. People visit this place a lot, and it also comes under Himachal Pradesh Forest Department. So we have 3 Ramsar sites for Himachal. Let's move to Rajasthan. In Rajasthan we have this Sambhar Lake, very important lake, house to a lot of migratory birds. You can see the pink flamingo in the picture, and it's a natural saline lake. It's managed by Rajasthan State Wetland Authority. It was designated under the criteria number 1. It falls in Jaipur, Nagaur, and Ajmer district. It was declared in the year 1990 itself. Now we have Kyoldiu National Park. It is also known as Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary. It's a national park. It's freshwater marsh and swamp area, and it is also UNESCO World Heritage Site. That is very important, and it's located in Bharatpur district. It is designated under criteria number 2, and it was designated in the year 1981. Upper Ganga River is a river stretched through Hapur, Sambhal, Amroha, and Bulandshahr districts of Uttar Pradesh. It's under Uttar Pradesh State Wetland Authority, and it is designated under criteria 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. It was designated in the year 2005. So now we have Sandi Bird Sanctuary. It's in Uttar Pradesh, designated under criteria 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. It's a bird sanctuary, and it's a freshwater marsh. It's in Hardoi district. It is managed by Uttar Pradesh State Wetland Authority, and it was designated last year only. Last year, Sarsai Nawar Jheel of Itawa district of Uttar Pradesh was also designated Ramsar site. It is also under Wetland Authority of Uttar Pradesh State, and it is designated under criteria 2, 3, 5, 7, and 8. Another Samaspur Bird Sanctuary, also designated last year, is a freshwater marsh. It is a bird sanctuary, and it is under criteria 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. It is in Raebareli district, and it is managed by Uttar Pradesh State Wetland Authority. Another, in the year 2019, we have Saman Bird Sanctuary, designated as Ramsar site. So it's a freshwater marsh. It is designated under criteria 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It is under Uttar Pradesh State Wetland Authority. Parvati Arga Bird Sanctuary was also designated last year under criteria number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8. It's in Gonda district. It's a freshwater marsh. It's a bird sanctuary, and it is managed by Uttar Pradesh State Wetland Authority. Nawabganj Bird Sanctuary is in Unnao district. Is also a marsh area, designated in the year 2019 as a Ramsar site. Next we have Loktak Lake, very important lake. point of view, it is in Bishnupur district. Also, it is home to Kibu Lamjao National Park, that is a floating national park, and Sangai deer, a very important species. And there's a festival also known as Sangai Festival that happens to be here. And it's a freshwater marsh. It is managed by Loktak Development Authority, and it was designated in the year 1990. In Maharashtra, we only have one Ramsar site, that is Madmeshwar Wetland, that is a barrage and water storage area. It is under Maharashtra Forest Department, and it is designated under criteria 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. It is in Nashik district of Maharashtra. It was designated last year only. So we have Nal Sarovar in Gujarat, a bird sanctuary, a marsh, designated under criteria 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. It is in Surendranagar and Ahmedabad district, and it was designated in the year 2012. It comes under Forest Department of Gujarat. Then we have in Punjab, Keshopur-Miani Community Reserve. Now what is a community reserve? Community reserve is same as conservation reserve. It is only different in aspect that a lot of land in community reserve is privately owned or individually owned, while in case of conservation reserve, all the land is publicly owned, not of any individual or any private player. Okay, so it is in Gurdaspur district. It is designated under criteria 2 and 5. It is managed by Department of Forest and Wildlife Preservation, Punjab, and it is a marsh and aquaculture pond. Lot of aquaculture pond it is, and it was designated last year only. Nangal Wildlife Sanctuary is in Rupnagar district of Punjab, designated last year, managed by Department of Forest and Wildlife Preservation of Punjab, and it is a reservoir designated under criteria 2 and 3. Ropar Lake, also in Punjab, is a conservation reserve designated under criteria 2 and 3. It's a barrage, water storage, and it is in Rupnagar and Nawashahar district of Punjab. It is designated in the year 2002. Kanchli in Punjab was also designated in the year 2002 under criteria number 3. It's a conservation reserve in Kapurthala district of Punjab, and it's a river stretch. It is managed by same Department of Forest and Wildlife Preservation, Punjab. Beas Conservation Reserve is declared last year under designation criteria 2 and 7. It is in Hoshiarpur, Amritsar, Gurdaspur, Kapurthala, Jalandhar and Taran district of Punjab. It's a river stretch. Harike in Punjab was declared in the year 1990, and it's a wildlife sanctuary. It's in Tarantara and Kapurthala and Firozpur district of Punjab. It is designated under criteria number 1. It is a reservoir and water storage area. Koleru Lake in Andhra Pradesh is a very important lake, and part of it is also wildlife sanctuary, and it is a lake, marsh and aquaculture pond type of wetland, and it was designated in the year 2002. It is in Krishna and Godavari district of Andhra Pradesh, and it is managed by Andhra Pradesh Forest Department, designated under criteria 1, 2, 4, 5 and 8. So last is Point Calimere Wildlife Sanctuary. It's a wildlife sanctuary and also a bird sanctuary. It's a reserve forest also, and it is in Nagapattinam district, and it is in under Tamil Nadu Forest Department. It was designated in the year 2002, and it's a mangrove swamp, lagoon, mud flats, salt pans. That's it. All the 38 Ramsar sites from India. Thank you. Have a nice day ahead.